All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, another day, another stream, another Chelsea live stream in regards to the transfer news that's gone around. Lots of talk about Raheem Sterling. Seems like this is the one that's heating up now, and a lot of the Chelsea journalists are really talking about this. So that's when you have to start taking this a little bit more seriously than other news. Matt Law has been driving this one very, very deeply. And, Nathan G. Singh from CFC News page in Instagram, a few of the other journalists as well, Nizar Kinsella has been talking about this. So we have to take this Sterling situation very, very seriously. Whether we like it or not, we're going to discuss all of that. What are the pros? What are the cons? My biggest gripe with this whole situation is, what is the motivation? And we're going to talk about that. Apparently, he wants to return back to London. He's a London boy. I believe his mother lives in London and he wants to be closer to her. But yeah, the transfer fee as well, salary as well. He apparently wants regular game time. He wants to be assured of game time. Is Chelsea Football Club a club that can assure you regular game time? Thomas Tuchel likes to rotate up front. All of that. Obviously, the World Cup at the end of the year, Raheem Sterling probably wants to be at his finest form. We're going to explore all of this. There's some interesting conversations to be had in regards to this situation, and I want to hear how each and every one of you guys feel about this. Nearly 50 of you guys are live already after 2 minutes. Smash the like button, number one. Let's get the likes up to 50 immediately. We're going to try and get to 100 likes within the stream. Anything after that is a bonus. If we can try and get 200 likes within the stream, that's going to be incredible. And I want to see how each and every one of you guys are doing. Some of you guys are saying Happy Father's Day. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day to each and every one of you guys. I don't think it's Father's Day in Australia. So Father's Day must be like different days in different areas. It's definitely not Father's Day here unless I'm not aware of it. Do let me know if it's Father's Day in Australia. I've got to say Happy Father's Day to my dad. But generally, I'm quite across these sort of situations. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are across the world. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. And let's have a very, very good conversation regarding this matter. Not just this particular matter about Raheem Sterling. We're going to touch upon Ousmane Dembélé as well a little bit. What's the situation there? We're going to have a discussion, try and gather your thoughts, your feelings about it. Rafinha is another one that's getting touted around, but I think he very much wants Barcelona. Deco is his agent, and he's got close connections with Barcelona. Of course, he's played for us as well, so we could possibly do something. But I think Deco is far more closer to Barcelona, and he's pushing Rafinha to Barcelona. I think Rafinha wants Barcelona as well. What does it mean for Dembélé? If Rafinha goes to Barcelona, does that mean Dembélé is possibly out to explore all of that? And yeah, the whole Sergei Milinkovic-Savic as well, might touch a little bit on it. Seems to be all the rumors coming from the Italian side of things, Lazio side of things. So we'll talk about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, nearly 60 of you guys, smash the like button, get those likes up. Coach's Corner, good to see you, my man. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Princeton, big up. We should pay this money and bring Rafinha instead of Sterling. Rafinha wages are much lower than Sterling. Yeah, look, we'll definitely talk about that. Sai Krishna, good to see you. The Undertaker CFC, good to see you. Bolly out, man. That's incredible. Already Bolly out. Then we've got Corey, good to see you, my man. Benolo, good to see you. Sadiq, good to see you. Great Ehian, good to see you, my man. Timothy, good to see you. Tegre, good to see you. Monsieur, good to see you. The regulars are buzzing. Vinny, good to see you, my man. Rio Fernando, I thought it was Rio Ferdinand. Good to see you, my man. Siddharthan, good to see you. King George is he. Yasin is he. Who else we've got? We've got Leslie. We've got Debasmith. We've got Rambo. We've got Timby, we've got Jamie, Mark, Surfs. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get cracking along with what's latest. So we're going to start our conversation from here. Late yesterday, bad boy Fabrizio Romano, tweeted out off the back of what PYS tweeted a few days ago, which was also from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea are really exploring Raheem Sterling. They are waiting to understand what the potential price tag could be. Fabrizio Romano, and from his particular podcast, Here We Go podcast. And off the back of that, yesterday night in UK time, Fabrizio Romano stated, Raheem Sterling, for sure one of the names on Chelsea's list, with Thomas Tuchel, big fan of English winger. I want to at this point say, who isn't Thomas Tuchel a fan of? Thomas Tuchel seems to be a fan of almost everyone. Seems to be a fan of Aspilicueta, seems to be a fan of Emerson, seems to be a fan of Declan Rice, seems to be a fan of Vardiol, seems to be a fan of Raheem Sterling, seems to be a fan of Ousmane Dembélé. Thomas Tuchel, calm yourself down being a fan. Okay, Chelsea have explored conditions of the deal. No direct talks between Man City and Chelsea or bid yet. Depends on other deals like Lukaku, Ousmane, and more. Okay, so what does it mean? Does it mean that if Romelu Lukaku is gone, which is very imminent, it's happening? Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan is happening. The conversation is very much advanced. He wants Inter Milan, so it will happen. So does that mean Sterling is, I suppose, taking that position? Where would Sterling play? Does he play on the left side? Is he going to play as a false nine? I mean, all of these questions. And what happens if we do get Ousmane Dembélé? It says depends on deals like Lukaku, Ousmane, and more. So what happens if we get Ousmane Dembélé? Does that mean no Raheem Sterling? There's a lot of uncertainty, and we're going to talk about all of these. First of all, Valan, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Never trusted Lukaku. I was right. Don't trust Sterling now. Sterling transfer is like a never learned from the past mistake type of transfer. Absolutely no. Let's start from this particular point. Look, what is the motivation of Sterling to join Chelsea? I mean, why would he want to come to Chelsea Football Club? What is there to prove? He's won multiple Premier League titles in Man City. He's won multiple domestic cups as well in Man City. Yes, he hasn't won the Champions League. And I know some of you guys sometimes hate when I say this, but believe it or not, Man City is closer to winning the Champions League than us. Yes, we've won twice. Yes, we've recently won once. But we were not the favorites, and we're still not the favorites. If anything, you'd think Man City are the ones that are favorites. I mean, it's not rocket science to say Man City are the favorites, one of the favorites to win the Champions League. So for him to say, I'm coming to Chelsea Football Club to win the Champions League, that don't fly with me. We could perhaps win it, but we're not favorites. We're not one of the top dogs at the moment. We are at a situation where we have depleted at the time being. We need to buy defenders just to get back into parity so that we can be in the level fields as other teams. We're not in any situation to even improve the squad as yet. So the motivational factor is a huge factor for me. I don't want to pay, as Valan said, I don't want to be paying this brother, and he's touted to be about 50, 60 million pounds. He's in his last year of the contract with Man City. He is one of Man City's main players. Yes, he doesn't always play with the rotations that's happening at Pep Guardiola's and in terms of how he plays the forward players, but he's still one of the main players of City. So they're gonna slap a lot of transfer fee. On top of that, Sterling's wages. Sterling wages are going to be somewhere around 300k apparently. Now, in terms of wages, there's a couple of ways to look about this. We are wasting our money with Timo Werner, with Romelu Lukaku on 325k, Timo Werner on 272k. We're wasting wages with Kepa as well, and many other players that are underperforming. We've got Barkley, such a waste of wages there too, and many more. So from that perspective, you could say, look, Ms. Sterling is a better player, and you rather give money to better players. You rather give the wages to better players. You rather pay the transfer fee for better players. But here's the question for me. Yes, he is a better player, but I'm a little bit scarred. I'm a little bit scarred with the recent transactions that we've done. I'm a little bit scarred about that. I'm worried if we bring this particular player in, the motivation. Is he going to be another one of those situations where we pay high wages, high transfer, and then he doesn't perform to the way we want to perform? Okay, I'm gonna bring in my boy, bad boy Padra, in the back seat. Everyone's been asking about him as well. Boom, my man. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Hey, what's up? We're back again on the other side of the coin. Apologies again, got late for 10 minutes, but
That's all
really
right, bro.
better than yesterday. So I'm happy.
It's an improvement. It's an improvement. Maybe as
Yeah,
we go
it's an
along, you're gonna
improvement.
be on time very, very soon.
Yeah.
How's things,
What's
bro? How you
happening?
doing?
What's up? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah, nothing from Chelsea. So I've tried shifting a few things to Formula One. Started watching few races. You know what I mean?
Man's
Since we
trying
don't
to
have
change.
any movement in the.
Man's trying to change religion, man, because nothing's happening with Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch
Uh,
into other sports, but then yeah, man. Listen, it's good, always good to talk to you, Miz, and your live chat,
mm,
and especially regarding what's happening in Chelsea, the madness we did last season with the transfer season. You know,
yeah.
this time around again, let's try to cope up with whatever transfers happening all around the world.
100%, man. Really good to see you, brother. Let's get into it. Ishan, one thing that's really, really heating up, and there's a lot of conversation going on. It seems like everyone's kind of put Ousmane Dembélé and Jules Koundé in the back seat. Enough of all of that. I don't know whether that's happening. All of a sudden now, the talks are in regards to Raheem Sterling, Ishan, and the
Hmm.
word is that Romelu Lukaku, his imminent departure could
Yeah.
force a move towards Raheem Sterling. Apparently, Thomas Tuchel likes her.
Hmm.
Who doesn't? It looks like Thomas Tuchel likes many players out there. He's a lover boy. He's a lover boy for many players out there. He loves many players. Ishan, how do you feel about Raheem Sterling? I want to hear from you. Raw emotions, thoughts about Raheem Sterling.
Now, before I give my thoughts on Raheem Sterling, is Thomas Tuchel actually calling up these journalists and saying that, oh, I love Raheem Sterling, please post it in your newspaper.
Hey,
Oh, I
Matt
love
Law.
Dembele.
Hey, Matt Law. I love Raheem Sterling. Okay, bye.
Yeah. I mean, what's up with this Thomas Tuchel? Thomas Tuchel loves Declan Rice out of nowhere. Thomas Tuchel loves Raheem Sterling out of nowhere. Thomas Tuchel loves Jules Koundé out of nowhere. Hell, these targets were before Thomas Tuchel came to Chelsea, right? We've been hearing regards to Declan Rice, Dembele, Koundé, and Shaw many, and apparently Thomas Tuchel loves each and every one of them. How is that even possible? I mean, come on. But then the thing is with Raheem Sterling, I think he's a good player.
Mm,
But again, I think so. I'm somewhat skeptical to just be very much confident with this move because listen, he's a Premier League proven player. He's achieved a lot in Man City,
yeah.
but somewhere down the line, I feel like the thing that we need in the wing probably he does not provide that till 100%. You know what I mean? It's more like probably in the wings we need someone like a Dembele who
Mm.
is a
Basically, what you're
creator.
saying is he's not completely a creator. Like Raheem Sterling is not
Yeah.
a
He's
creative player.
he's not that complete thing that we need, right, Miz? I mean, listen, past couple of years or 3 years, we've seen a lot of a lot of signings. We've had Hakim Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, Havertz, if you'd like to add him up there, and many more we had in the past as well. We thought that those were not the perfect signings after Eden Hazard left, right? We thought
Mm.
that Pulisic would come up and fill the shoes. He failed. We thought that Werner would do something. He failed. We thought that Ziyech would do something not up to the mark. Likewise, I think so. Raheem Sterling is another that type of guy who he's good in his day, but probably he's not that kind of a guy who we can rely on game in game out. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
If there are some flaws in Christian Pulisic, there are some flaws in Werner, some flaws with Hakim Ziyech. Similarly, Sterling comes with few flaws where he's not 100% winger that we'd want. In terms of
Hmm.
finishing, probably he's not up to the mark. In terms of over
He
dribbling, he does
misses
that
he
quite a few
misses
times.
some big chances as well, bro. He
Right?
misses big
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. He does that. In terms of over dribbling, he does that quite a lot of times. So I think so. It would be a good move, but uh, is it solving? Is this one player marquee signing that you'd like to call miss? Is it solving all of our problems in the attack in the wings? Maybe not. So I think so.
Hmm.
Dembele move would have made more sense than a Raheem Sterling move. But then, yes, definitely, no two ways about that. That he's a good player and he's achieved a lot in Man City.
Yeah, man. I hear exactly what you're saying. He's not. Yeah, okay. He can finish maybe. The tapping merchants. Everyone's saying he's a tapping merchant. Perhaps if we have a Dembele and Sterling together, that makes sense to me. Dembele could produce. He can create, and then maybe someone like Sterling taps in. Let's take this conversation to the next part. We're going to talk about his position. Where could he play for us? We can talk about all of that very, very soon. Are you somewhat worried, Ishan, that perhaps someone like Raheem Sterling, what is the motivation to come to Chelsea? Also, he's going to demand wages. He's probably going to have a
Mm,
good, sizable transfer fee as well. Even though he's in his last year of contract with Manchester City, he's roughly around 50 to 60 million, which is probably what we're going to pay for any other big players as well, to be honest.
yeah, yeah.
Rafinha is around the 50, 60 million as well. But the wages, I mean, Ishan, does it worry you? Why Chelsea Football Club? You've won everything. Why Chelsea? Some people are saying he's a London boy. He wants to come back to London. He's got his mum living in London. I mean, is that in itself good motivation for you? I mean, that seems like sentimental for me. For me, that's
Yeah.
sentimental motivation. But is that enough for a career motivation? And the
Mm.
wages, does that worry you that could we possibly take another monumental L again the way we did with Lukaku? Thoughts?
Yeah, man. It's listen, like I told you, Miss. I think so. You've put up a good point. Uh, but I think so. If Raheem Sterling wants to stay at England, it makes sense.
Mm,
If he's saying that, listen, I'm an open book, I might go anywhere. Then things can be interesting and exciting in the days to come. But then, listen, who who apart from Chelsea, who else is targeting Raheem Sterling? Man
in the
United, I
Premier
don't
League,
think
in the
so.
Premier League,
Yeah, Premier League, yeah.
no one, no one.
None, right?
Yeah.
So probably it's either Chelsea, just like you said, putting on the shoulders of the statement you said that he's going to demand high wages just because he's a Premier League proven player
Mm,
and he's achieved a lot in Man City. He's won a lot in Man City. Uh, there's going to be a
mm,
huge demand of wage. That's one of the reasons why most of the Premier League teams will back out, right? Man United
mm,
won't take them.
mm.
Spurs definitely not going to take them. Arsenal's not going to take them since now they're getting Gabriel Jesus now. Probably
And
they'll take that.
Liverpool definitely won't take him. Yeah.
Liverpool definitely won't take him. So that leaves only Chelsea to get him. He definitely won't be going. I presume that he won't be going to Newcastle. I might be wrong, but then let's keep it to that at this point
Yeah,
of
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
That I presume he would be going to Newcastle. He would like to play in Champions League football. That that shows that probably we are the only one in the race in Premier League. Next,
Hmm.
he's definitely getting out of Man City this season, this transfer window. That
Hmm.
means that he has to, if he wants to stay in the Premier League, Chelsea is the only options, right? If not,
Hmm.
probably there might be some other clubs knocking on the doors, like Barcelona. You see Barcelona knocking every single damn door of the
Bro, the
negotiation.
queue for Barcelona is outside my place. It's big. Do you know what I mean? It's all the way from the Catalonia all the
Yeah,
way to Sydney, Australia. That's how long the queue is.
100%. Oh, my days, miss. I mean, Barcelona are knocking every single damn door. I don't know what lottery or what black money they've conquered, in the midst of these few months. They're knocking every door of the negotiation. So you never know. And I, besides, thought that, Sterling would be a
Hmm.
good option in La Liga and Bundesliga teams as well. The way he plays and the way his movement is. If he gets more space, like in a Bundesliga, or probably in La Liga as well, he would do very good. If Barcelona or any other La Liga team or probably a Bundesliga team opts for
It
Raheem
makes
Sterling, that might be
sense
a
to
good,
me
good
if he went
options.
to Real Madrid, Ishan. Like Real Madrid
Yeah.
needs probably like a right-sided player, and Raheem Sterling can play on the right side.
Yeah, definitely. But they've got this Vinicius Rodrigo and Valverde, I
Eden
think so. And
Hazard as well, I suppose.
Eden Hazard, the way he vouched to bounce back in the next season, it'll be interesting to see what he
Yeah.
does. But then, yeah, I think so. The book is still open. I believe that the book is still open. Also, looking at the fact that the way Bayern Munich has tried to transition themselves, you never know. They might just point their fingers at Raheem Sterling, and probably the tides can turn away. But looking at his demands at the moment, if he's definitely here to stay in England, then probably Chelsea might be the only target, and we'll have to see whether you know is Raheem Sterling's wages meets what Chelsea are trying to offer. But then again, Miss, I'd like to ask you a question regarding this. We're targeting Raheem Sterling, we're targeting Dembele, which probably might not happen at this point of time. We were targeting Rafinha. I don't know where that ship has sailed. It's just disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, that Rafinha negotiation thing. We're left with this Raheem Sterling thing, yeah.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
look back at the bench, you see the likes of Pulisic not happy with his time. You
Ziyech
you
not
see the
happy.
likes of Hakim Ziyech not happy with his game time.
Timo Werner not
Timo
happy.
Werner definitely not happy with his game time, and well deservingly not happy, to be very honest.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
you've got Mason Mount playing in the same place. You've got Conor Gallagher, who, if he shows attacking prowess in the next season, might pop up in that
Don't forget Callum
attacking
Hudson-Odoi.
tens.
What's happening with
Callum
Callum Hudson-Odoi?
Hudson-Odoi coming up. There are a number of plenty options, miss. And the guys are not happy already. And you're thinking of adding a Raheem Sterling or a Dembele, who which we like to call a marquee signing, right? We
Yeah.
cannot make them sit on the bench just like the things happen with Lukaku. Do you know what I mean? So, what do you think, miss? I mean, who do we let go first?
This is the point that I wanted to talk about next up as well, that Raheem Sterling, apparently, Sean, one of the reasons why he wants to possibly entertain a move in London and especially in Chelsea is
Yeah,
he wants promised regular minutes. He wants Thomas Tuchel to promise him regular minutes. So we're going to definitely talk about this. But before we do that, Tim B, thank you so much for the super chat. He's good enough for City. He's good enough for us. Look, I'm not saying he's not good enough. He definitely is good enough. There is no doubts about that. Like, I've got no issues with Raheem Sterling coming to Chelsea Football Club. I've always said this. I think he's a very, very good player. I just want to understand the motivation. I don't want to lock up a particular player for a long contract and then it's all sentimental and
yeah,
he's not really giving his full best for Chelsea Football Club. He's in his prime age, 27 years old, so he's moving into a particular zone where we should be seeing better of him. But or could it be the other way because he played from such an early age? Maybe he's on the decline now. I don't know. Are we buying a player that is on the way down? Now let's talk about what Ishan said in regards to who do we let go? One thing is certain. Raheem Sterling is focused on the World Cup. Ishan,
yeah,
Raheem Sterling's mind is on the World Cup. He wants to make sure he gets regular minutes non-stop so that he's in the finest condition for the World Cup. So there could be a motivation there of why he possibly wants to leave City so he gets regular minutes.
yeah,
I don't know if you're going to be getting regular minutes non-stop with Chelsea Football Club. You're going to be the best winger. Don't get me wrong. Raheem Sterling will be the best winger at Chelsea Football Club. But Thomas Tuchel is notoriously known for continuously rotating the front three. He does not stick with like Klopp.
exactly.
Salah, Mane, Firmino, or Jota, whatever. Obviously now there's no
Yeah,
Mane, so it's going to be Salah and Luis Diaz. Klopp plays Salah almost every game. Almost every game. Klopp played Mane almost. I don't think Thomas Tuchel will be playing Sterling almost every single game. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yes, 100.
I'm not sure. I mean, it would be a change of thought process if he comes in and Thomas Tuchel starts playing him on a regular basis. Then the question is, what what does it mean for Christian Pulisic? If Raheem Sterling is playing regularly, what does it mean for Christian Pulisic, who already finds it difficult to come into Chelsea, get minutes in Chelsea Football Club? What does it mean for Callum Hudson-Odoi? 100% Callum Hudson-Odoi is gone then. I can't imagine Callum Hudson-Odoi being a wingback. I don't want to see another season of Callum Hudson-Odoi being a wingback next season. Like Ishan and
Yeah.
I have done too many watch-alongs where Callum Hudson-Odoi has been a wingback. We don't want to see that again. So, what does it mean for Callum Hudson-Odoi? What does it mean for Christian Pulisic? What does it mean for Timo Werner? Ishan, maybe one, maybe two will have to go. I think it will mean the end of Christian Pulisic for me. It will mean the
Yeah.
end of Christian Pulisic. It may even mean loan for Callum Hudson-Odoi. I mean, Ishan, before I go back to you, here's something that's come up as well recently. Thomas Tuchel is a big fan of Manchester City. Here's another and another big and another
There
big
you
fan
go.
FC to Tom. These guys are taking the piss now, honestly, Ishan. These journalists
Uh,
are they're
so what?
they
So what? Thomas Tuchel is a big fan of Messi as well. So what? Messi is coming to
bro.
Chelsea.
At this rate, I'm sure he's a big fan of me as well. Thomas Tuchel soon, we will see, he's a big fan of Miz and Ishan as well, and a big fan of the live chat. Look, I can't take this seriously, even though it's from Dematio and Nathan G. Nathan G. via Dematio. I mean, seriously, we're gonna go back to the Nathan Ake situation. I mean, no.
Just because our manager is a fan of somebody does not mean he literally wants that player in the team. Does not mean that. Please, let's get things clear. If our manager loves a player, does not mean that he would want him in his team.
I'm sure he's a fan of
be there
Pele as
loving
well. I'm
Ronaldo.
sure he's a fan of Pele. Do we need Pele?
Pele, Maradona,
Do you know what I
everybody.
mean?
Every
Maradona
German player
back
he
from
might
the
be fan
dead.
of. Yeah, I mean, he might be fan of Bastian Schweinsteiger. Can we get him back from the retirement or something? I mean, he might go out there and love Mbappe, love Neymar. We can't get him. We can't get everybody. You know what
It's
I mean?
mad, bro. It's mad. It's mad. But getting back to the point, Ishan, Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'm very worried. Timo Werner may get a chance to stick around, Ishan, because we don't have striking option besides Havertz and Armando Broja. I mean, what's your thoughts? Who do you think is going to get hurt?
Yeah. Before I speak on that, Miss, it's isn't it fascinating how we're not close to any signing, any deal, any negotiation, and how this media, this journalist is trying to uh, get the clicks of the Chelsea fans just by adding these lame statements. Thomas Tuchel is a big fan, is a love boy, is huge fan, and this and that of
Thomas
this.
Tuchel is a lover boy.
It's disgusting how we're not negotiating to any player, not close to any deal, but these journalists are coming up with these lame statements just to keep Chelsea fans engaging on any transfer topic, which is totally false. You know what I mean? Just trying to cope up and bring Chelsea fans to the clicks and the views of all the social media thing just by adding few statements, with the help of Thomas Tuchel's name. This is mad. This actually needs to stop. We should realize the fact that where our club is heading to. Back in the day, there was some big Neymar rumors just because of this small
Yeah,
statement. That
yeah,
Thomas
yeah.
Tuchel is a big fan of
Big
Neymar.
fan.
Thomas Tuchel
Yeah.
loves Neymar.
And apparently Neymar loves Thomas Tuchel as well.
Neymar
Will
loves
fight
Thomas
for
Tuchel
Thomas.
and vice versa. Yeah, Neymar is not liking it in PSG. Neymar would like to change his club, and hence, just because of this love relationship, Neymar might come to Chelsea. Wow, what a story, man! And the reality check, nothing is happening. So this is how these journalists are getting these Chelsea fans engaging into absolute nothing. This is mad. But yeah, coming to the question, which you're saying, Ms. I think so. Looking at the minutes, yeah, analyzing the minutes that our attackers have got this past season, I think so. Focusing on the Premier League, the 38 game streak, Timo Werner has been the least one. The man who got the least minutes. Looking at that, you would like to say that Timo Werner might be the one who should be heading out. Uh, but on the hindsight, you see someone called as Christian Pulisic's dad come out and speak about his minutes. Oh, knock knock! You're not giving my son good minutes, so he might be leaving out. You might see the likes of Hakim Ziyech performing in patches in the last season, but he's got his minutes. But he might not be happy comparatively to the minutes he had. He used to get in
Yeah.
Ajax comparatively to now. What although you see all the three, these three players, Werner, Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, how would they get their minutes if you're not performing to your level best, right?
True.
That's
True.
your minutes corresponds to your performance in the pitch, and the patches of performance that you've been given, that's accordingly the minutes you've been given in this whole season. Looking at the minutes, it seems like Timo Werner might be heading out, but looking at the way Christian Pulisic and his dad has been unhappy about the minutes that they've been getting, now seems like this thing has shifted to Pulisic. Probably if Pulisic wants himself out, then I don't think so. Probably Thomas Tuchel
And
can stop
and
that.
also Ishan Pulisic very much interested about the World Cup. He wants to play every game so that he's in finest, condition for the World Cup. It's
Miss,
very
isn't it
interesting.
surprising? I mean, Miss, isn't it surprising? I've thought a lot about this, and I want to know your thoughts about this. You see a certain Christian Pulisic play for Chelsea, and he's like the side man. He plays like he's not there 100%. When you see that same Christian Pulisic play with the USA, he's like the main man. He's like the Pele of USA. He's a changed beast. He wants to do everything, score every goal. You see that intention there, but you don't see that in Chelsea. And I'm not saying
Can
just
I tell
from,
you why? Can I tell you why? Can I tell you
yeah,
why?
yeah.
Have you watched Pogba's documentary? And to the live chat as well. Have you guys started watching Pogba's documentary on Amazon Prime? Ishan, have you started watching it?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, so episode 1, I just finished episode 1. I'm up to episode 2 now. Episode 1, Ishan, Pogba, they talk about the not the season that just finished, but the last season when Pogba had only one more season left at the end of the season. And they were talking about whether he wants to, negotiate another contract extension with Man United, or they think about him leaving. And Pogba was saying that, oh, Man United now seems to negotiate something, and he was saying, oh, it's like a girl that you didn't care about too much, but right when she's about to leave, now you want to show all attention to this particular girl. And Pogba basically was trying to say is that every player wants to be an important player. Every player
Yeah.
wants to feel they're important at the club. And this is one of the reasons I think Lukaku recently said as well, that he doesn't feel he's important. And my thing is, you're not going to be given the importance. You're going to have to show that you are an important player. But I think it could be the same case, Ishan, for Christian Pulisic, where he may not feel important at Chelsea Football Club, but he definitely feels important for USA. That's why he
Yeah.
plays a lot better for USA. Whereas at Chelsea Football Club, as you said, he's a side man. Do you know what I mean? He's a side man. So do you think that could be a bit of a factor? I mean, how can Thomas Tuchel show importance? Like, I don't know. How can we make them feel important, Ishan?
Miss, let's compare the standards of the both the teams. Yeah, Christian Pulisic, being the player he is, whatever he's achieved abroad, his own country, Dortmund, now in Chelsea, uh, his team gives him that importance because he's achieved in the club level, right? Comparatively to the other teammates. Now, this is a very important your point here. If you compare the other players, Christian Pulisic is the one who's overachieved in that whole USA squad, right? Since he's overachieved, he's been given the captain band. He's the main player of the squad, and he has to drive this whole team, anchor this whole team to a victory, and he does that. Come Chelsea, it's not the same story. There are other champion players. There are other winners there. You're not. You can't be relied. You can't be relying on Christian Pulisic the whole match, right? There are other players who we need to rely on. There are other players who've achieved probably much more than what Christian Pulisic has done, right? So we can't be relying on this player, and it's such a dynamic sort of atmosphere here in Chelsea. We can't be waiting for you to click after 3 games, 4 games, 3 games, 3 bad games. You're sitting on the bench, right? We have that dynamism here. In USA, he might be national squad. He might probably be protected if he doesn't play good for 3, 4, 5 games. He still has that secure sense of security, right? That he'll be playing in the next game. So probably he feels more secured and he feels more confident. But bro, if you gotta become a good player at Chelsea at the level that we play here, you'll have to click probably every single game. When you
Yeah.
show the standards, The last player where we relied on, the whole team relied on, was Eden Hazard, right?
Yeah.
Because he showed that standards, he showed that number every single day in, day out. Even if he did not produce numbers, he would come up there with, with helping the other players. He would be there with his intensity in the game. Christian
Mm.
Pulisic is not showing that, and if you're not showing that, it's difficult for a manager like Thomas Tuchel to ignore the fact that you've got a likes of Timo Werner, Hudson Odoi, Ziyech sitting on the bench. We can't be
Mm.
doing that. USA can't do that. Hence, he's probably might be feeling more protected there. But in Chelsea, bro, you gotta pull up your socks. If you're not performing 2 games, third opportunity you get, you better perform. Even if you don't
Yeah.
bring up the numbers, show the intensity. If you're
Yeah.
not, I'm sorry, you're not coming up. As simple as that, miss. The standards are different. To be
Mm.
to
Mm.
be to simply put on the table, the standards are different when you compare USA
Margin
and
margin of error. Margin of error is very
hundred
small. You
percent, hundred
cannot
percent.
make errors. No, 100%
Yeah,
agreed. 100% agreed. Valan, thank you so much for the super chat. Tuchel is a fan of everyone besides our academy. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Jeff Knightley is saying big fish, small pond in regards to Pulisic in USA.
yes,
Ishan, let's now move on to the next stage of this Raheem Sterling situation. Before we do that, exclusive, Chelsea have their doubts over Ousmane Dembele's injury record, and the current feeling is that I'm more interested in Sterling. So all of a sudden, we are now straying away from Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele rumors seems to sort of fade away. We'll see how it all works out. I'm hurt. I have to be honest. I'm a little bit hurt because I honestly wanted Ousmane Dembele on top of Sterling, not just Sterling. And it definitely hurts that he's the creative outlet that I really wanted.
yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got over 200 people live right now. Please smash the like button. Get those likes up to 200 immediately. If you're enjoying this, we're going to start taking some of your comments as well from the live chat very soon. Get those likes up to 200. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Check out Ishan and his Instagram link. Please follow Ishan on Instagram. Very lovely person to follow on Instagram. Ishan, I want to talk to you now about Raheem Sterling and the position where he would play. Romelu Lukaku leaving seems like is a factor that we want to replace him with Raheem Sterling. Now, we have seen Raheem Sterling play false nine at Manchester City, but probably not as effectively as Man City would have liked it. He's far better in the left side. He can definitely play on the right side. He can be creative on the right side, no doubt about that. But his probably best games are on the left side. Where do you picture him playing for Chelsea Football Club? And also, the other thing that I want to ask you and the live chat as well, this is Chelsea Football Club. This is not Manchester City. You don't have
yeah.
KDB. You don't have Bernardo Silva. You don't have Rodri that's going to slide in those passes for you. They're not going to line breaking passes. You're going to have to work hard at Chelsea Football Club to make your own meal. No one's cooking up your dinner. There is no, kitchen lady or anything like that, or kitchen man ready to cook up anything. You cook your own dinner at Chelsea Football Club, and you have to eat it yourself as well. Ishan,
Yeah.
how do you think that dynamic is going to work? Because this isn't Man City, this is Chelsea Football Club. Something that Thomas Tuchel probably needs to work on. But yeah, position and the style of football.
First of all, you hit the nail on the head when you explained that you're not gonna get a KDB in Chelsea. You're gonna get a Jorginho, you're gonna get a Kovacic, and you're gonna get a
Sometimes
Kante, who's
Kante,
probably,
sometimes
yeah,
Kante.
sometimes Kante, right? Sometimes Kante. So that's what you're gonna get. Now the thing here is that's the difference, miss. What happened in Man City is KDB, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, all these guys are creators. Not just creators, they're finishers as well. So they are bundle of package of every single thing, right? You talk about KDB, talk about Riyad Mahrez, talk about Sterling himself, talk about Bernardo Silva, Gundogan as well, creator, finisher. So you're getting the package of both creators and finishers in every individual. That's the exact opposite what we have in Chelsea Football Club at this point of time. You see our midfielders. Kovacic probably a creator or a runner with the ball, trying to find out spaces, but not a good finisher. Jorginho, he's a good, a regista, but probably not the best creator, and definitely not a good finisher, right? Kante,
Yep.
not a good finisher, pulls up passes here and there, but probably Kante is Kante. What he does, he
Definitely
does
not a
best.
creator. You wouldn't say Kante is a
Yeah,
creator.
Exactly. Kante is not a creator and definitely not a finisher as well, to
Mm.
my senses, according to
Yeah.
the numbers, right? Sterling needs when Sterling's playing in Man City, you've got the likes of KDB, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, all these players having his back
Foden as
when
well
he's
sometimes.
Foden as well, right? Riyad Mahrez, everybody, right? Whoever he's playing with,
Mm.
he's got that his back covered by these guys. When he's not finishing, you have them finishing. In
Yep.
Chelsea Football Club, when you're coming as a creator plus a expected good finisher, if you're not doing your job, you're not gonna have the others click in as well. You're not gonna have the
True.
others
True. True.
having your back as well, right?
Yeah.
So we don't need a player like I told you, Miss. If we're signing an attacker, a winger, we probably need a better finisher than probably, if you're comparing this creativeness and this finishing ability, probably I would inclined into finishing as well now, because it's been high time. We've seen a
Mm.
lot of
Mm.
chances being created. We've seen the likes of Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, Hudson-Odoi create a lot of chances, but then the finishing element is missing, right since Hazard left Chelsea. So I would want that also in him. But if he does not do that in Chelsea, you're not going to get that backing from the other guys. The other guys are also missing their boots. We're having the likes of Reece James as a, most, the ones who's finishing the best. His
Yeah.
finishing rate
Yeah.
has been so
Goals and assists. Goals and
goals and
assists.
assists as well. So when our wing backs are, there to finish, you see the likes of midfielders and attackers not coping up with the finishing. We definitely should be signing someone who's, bare minimum finishing stuff that he's supposed to finish. Is Sterling the guy? Probably not, but he's a definitely a good player, and in his day, he'll definitely be the best man on the pitch. But
Mm.
again, if I definitely would have a choice between one of the two, between Dembele and Sterling, I would definitely take Dembele, isn't it?
What position would you play Sterling, Ishan?
I think so. Looking at the, apart from Ziyech, we don't have anybody who could cover that right hand side
Mm.
well.
Mm.
If Sterling can cover up that side well, I think so. We could go well with Pulisic on the left hand side, right,
Mm.
and or probably Mason Mount at the left hand side. But if Sterling shifts into the left hand side, we're eating up position for probably two players, right? And Mason Mount
Mm.
have to shift
Mm.
to the right hand side. So, so that's the point. You can't be benching Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech, and you'll have to play
Do you
Sterling.
possibly see maybe a formational change with more attackers?
Miss, this formation change cry we've doing since last season, but nothing is happening, isn't it? So probably we'll be sticking this up. Look, I think so. I know what Thomas Tuchel's concern is in terms of formation changes. He feels that if he has, and it starts right from the defense, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Probably Ryan
yeah.
will have his own analysis there, but just to give a point or thought process of what I'm thinking at this point, it starts from the defensive part where
Mm.
Thiago Silva we consider our backbone of the team in terms of defensive abilities. If we change it to the back four, he might have to do more movement, more running into the pitch. Considering his fitness, probably that might not be the best choice for him. Do you know what I mean? Being playing a back
Mm.
four throughout the season, having another defender alongside Thiago Silva that cuts off the work rate or the running that Thiago Silva needs to do. It starts from there itself, playing
Yeah.
this back three formation. Now adding up your Reece James and your Ben Chilwell in the wing backs, their sort of creativity, their ability to finish the ball, the play in the final third, that excels more in a back three when they're playing in the wing back comparatively to
Mm.
what they
Mm.
do in the in the conventional full back position, right? So I think so. It starts from back, and then when you take this whole transition into our midfielders and attackers, probably the attackers have to compromise a little bit. Like you very well know the fact that Hakim Ziyech excels more in a wider sort of winger
Yeah,
position.
wide right role.
Similarly,
Yeah.
Similarly with Hudson-Odoi, similarly with Pulisic. Werner, I still don't know how to comment on him. But then, yeah, regardless, this this back in the three, supports a lot of important players that we have at this point of time. And to get the best out of these important players, I think so. Thomas Tuchel is reluctant to change this formation to a back four, right? So I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
The next signing we're making and the next season we're heading, we're still gonna go with a back three. But then
Yeah.
keeping in mind the incomings, right? Like you just mentioned, Armando Broja coming in, Conor Gallagher coming in. There might be a possibility that we add up a number eight into the midfield, just considering the
Mm,
form of Conor Gallagher that he's been having in the last season and the position he plays. And definitely, Conor Gallagher wouldn't be, wanting to play in a double pivot. You know what
double
I mean?
pivot. Yeah.
Neither so high up in the line alongside attacker that might diminish a
Mm,
lot of responsibility that Gallagher plays. So looking
yeah.
at both, the players that we already have and the players that were coming back from loan, we might need to bring up a solution. Is back three the solution? Probably not. Is back four the solution? Probably it diminishes the strength of a lot of existing players. So it's a huge
Mm,
dilemma for Thomas Tuchel to
yeah.
solve.
Yeah.
But fact of the matter is, if just to wrap things up on Sterling point, if Sterling comes in miss, there has to be a sacrifice, right?
Has
In
to.
terms of
Has
our
to.
attacking
Has to.
players, Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech, one of them, or Hudson-Odoi, one of them is definitely heading out.
Yeah, has to. Just quickly in regards to this super chat, thank you so much, Valence, for the super chat. Zaniolo, Gio, Reyna, Maduk, Maduk, I hope I pronounced that right. Diaby, but target Sterling. Yeah, look, I mean, Sterling's not a bad player, but at this stage, it just needs to make sense financially. A lot of these things. I personally think Sterling is probably going to play on the left side, which means Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner, those type of players, and also Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're going to get hurt. Ziyech generally plays on the right. And the other factor is, I've seen a few people say, oh, Mount's not a winger. We don't generally even play with a winger. We play with inside forwards. Our wingers are our wing backs. Mason Mount plays on the right side at times and sometimes on the left side as well. And then you have a striker up top. And in recent times, the last few matches in the last season, we've been playing with two up front and then three in midfield. So Mason Mount has been playing on the left side on the midfield or on the right side on the midfield. So it could still be three at the back with five people in the middle, including the wing backs, and then you've got the three midfielders and then the two up front. But with Raheem Sterling, how would you play with the two up front? Because we don't really have a out and out striker. Timo Werner is a second striker, I feel like. Havertz is a second striker, I feel like. Armando Broja is probably the only striker, but that's too much pressure to put on Armando Broja to lead Chelsea's line at the age of 20 or 21, whatever he is. So I expect us to, and Ishan's right, we're probably going to continue with the three at the back because it still accommodates with who we have. As long as you're keeping Thiago Silva, you probably want to keep on playing, I suppose, with the three at the back. Now, some people may say, but Ms. Thiago Silva plays in a back four, two, the natural defenders for Brazil. But Brazil, they are very capable of holding the ball, man. They're extremely good on the ball. They've got a very good defensive midfielder in the likes of Casemiro and others as well. They've got players like Bruno Guimaraes and whatnot, many other players. And that's probably the other factor, that we don't have a strong defensive midfielder that can play as a lone DM and cover and move in as the third defender in the middle if we did play with four at the back. And this is probably why, Declan Rice rumors are getting touted around. This is probably why Sangare is getting touted around. I would have gone the other way of redoing this team, but that's for a different video. But look, definitely picture Raheem Sterling on the left side, and with a striker up front, whether that's Havertz. I guess what we want to finish things off with, final sort of situation before we wrap things up with this Sterling conversation. Still 89 likes, guys. Over 222 people live. Get those likes up to 200 immediately. I want to ask the live chat as well, if Sterling was to play on the left side or on the right side, whatever the case is, because I don't expect him to play as a false nine, because for me, that seems to be a bit of a waste. Ishan, I want to ask you, are we going to buy someone to play that false nine? Because obviously we were linked with Gabriel Jesus. Now Gabriel Jesus is getting closer and closer to Arsenal Football Club. I mean, is Havertz going to be again trusted to be false nine next season? Does that mean Timo Werner sticks around at Chelsea Football Club? Maybe he's going to get a bit more game time. I'm not convinced by any of those two. I love Havertz, I really do. I don't think he's someone who's going to bang in 20 plus goals, which is what we need up front. Your thoughts, bro? I mean, I don't picture Sterling to be a false nine.
I think so, Miss. Looking at the another side of the coin, which is Armando Broja coming into the scenario. What are your plans with him? Because you can't be having this player who sort of has shown a good potential in the last season, and now looking at the fact that Lukaku might be heading out of the club, uh, Armando Broja might be expecting things now, right? He's been a starter for the most of the period in Southampton last season. Coming here in Chelsea, definitely he can't be starting every single game according to the performance, definitely. But he definitely might be some expecting to be at least the first option after the starting lineup, right? He has to be the one going to be the first in the pecking order in terms of rotational player. If
100%.
not,
That's how I feel as well. Yeah.
yeah. So if you're thinking about that part, what is the role of Kai Havertz if you're bringing in a new player? If you're bringing in a new striker, if you're bringing in a new number nine, probably in the form of Raheem Sterling or probably anybody, do we get? How do we think Havertz is going to cope up with that? So once, for example, we have a Raheem Sterling up top as a false nine, what is the role of Kai Havertz? If you think about Armando Broja being the conventional rotational player, if Kai Havertz is the one who probably would switch with Raheem Sterling up top, what happens with Armando Broja? Then he's definitely not going to play in the two attacking tens. Kai Havertz can play that, but not Armando Broja. So I think so. If we don't get a striker up top, Kai Havertz will have to take the role. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the worst case scenario here. If we don't sign any striker, Kai Havertz would have to take the role of a conventional starter as a false nine, and then Armando Broja would chip in as a rotational player.
As a rotation off the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, off the bench. Talking about attackers, we are already overloaded with attackers. Another spanner I would like to throw in the equation. What about Harvey Vale? Is there any plans with him, or he's going out on loan? If you don't sign any wingers or attackers, I don't think so. It's end of the story for us. We can probably look at the likes of Harvey Vale, Levi Colwell, Xavier Ambuyamba. You would remember the time is when we had this transfer ban season. Frank Lampard was our manager. And
I
that's
like
when the
Harvey
likes
Vale a
of
lot, bro. I really like
Yeah.
Harvey Vale a lot. I'm
Miz,
worried.
if
I
you
think he's going to leave, bro. I think he's going to leave.
and I don't want that. It's giving me that same Livermento kind of feeling, man. Livermento killed it in Southampton this season. Probably not the later half of the season, but for the first half of the season, he was probably killing it. And I don't want that to happen. You'd remember, Miz, if not for the transfer ban back in the time when Lampard was the manager, Mount wouldn't have got the opportunity that he got, and he wouldn't have been the player that he is today. Similarly goes with Tammy Brown. Similarly goes with Reece James and the others as well. So probably if you're not getting the click, you're not getting the key in the transfer market, why not turn your back, and see, look at Harvey Vale, look at Levi Colwell, look at Xavier Mbuyamba, and grab this opportunity, with the help of Thomas Tuchel, with the help of experienced players like Thiago Silva, Aspilicueta, Jorginho, get these players on board into the team in a better way, in a confident way. Probably these guys can lead. I really don't know why we're not doing this at this point of time, because if you see Liverpool, the way they run, whenever they have this option to elaborate this academy players, they do that. Look at Philip Jones, and so many players coming up like him.
Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones,
Harvey
and
Elliott is
Philip,
not from their academy,
Harvey
but I think
Elliott.
is Harvey
Yeah,
Elliott from
but
their academy?
these young guys,
Young players, yeah.
these young guys chipping up and doing the job. I think so. It's high time for us. Next season we should be doing that. If we don't get our hands on well in the transfer market, probably these guys should chip in, and it's high time now for them to explore.
No, it's a good point about the Harvey Vale situation. Something that maybe we need to talk about in another video. I would be very disappointed if we can't find any solution for Harvey Vale, and probably looks like, I don't know whether he's going to leave on a permanent or is he going to go on a loan. We'll see. Constantine, thank you so much for the super chat. Miz, are we linked to AK? How can we catch City if we buy players they deem not good enough? We need to scout our own stars, not buy leftovers. Look, I mean, I had no issues with Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is young, 25, and he's at a situation where I feel like he could take off. And he's not a bad player. He's a very good player. Similarly with Sterling, I don't think he's a bad player at all. Could be on the decline, but then again, he's still a very, very good player. So from those two players, Constantine, I don't think they're leftovers. I think Man City would like to negotiate, but they've got the power because there's only one more season left, and they're not agreeing with what Man City has to offer. Some want more money, some want more game time, this, that, the other. Nathan Ake was someone who we didn't even appreciate. We let him go. Do you know what I mean? Forget about us getting him back. Like, he's our leftover. Now we're going back to get him from Man City. It doesn't make sense to me. I know Nathan Giesing is well connected with these sort of news, but it does not make sense to me. He could possibly play as LCB, but is this where we want to go back to now? Nathan Ake, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. No disrespect to him. Good player, but we sold him for what, 40 million or something like that? Or was it even us? Was it Bournemouth that took him? I think he was a Bournemouth player. So Bournemouth got 40 million.
He was Bournemouth player.
Yeah. So look, how much are we going to get him back for? Again, 14. It's just, nah, man. It doesn't make sense to me one bit. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us till the end of this conversation about Raheem Sterling. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. We've covered it as comprehensively as we could. We thoroughly enjoyed your time as well in the live chat and the comments you've made. And thank you to each and every one of you guys that have contributed with super chats. Much appreciated. So, yeah. Smash the like button, get those likes up to well over 200. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. We're very close to 13,000 subscribers. And hit the bell notification. I shall see you guys with another video later on UK time, 9:30 p.m. UK time. Daily wrap-up of what's going on. And we shall be back again for another live tomorrow, similar time-ish around the UK, 10, 11 a.m., maybe midday, but during that time. So, yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Until next time, take care and see you.